A cluster is a group of gifted students participating together in a shared educational experience. This is the main screen used in developing a gifted education plan for a cluster. It lets you create clusters and assign them to teachers and acts as a hub to various other features of the program. It is a very busy screen and a very interactive screen, and this video will take you on a tour of it. The process of creating the plan for a gifted education cluster begins with the selection of a school at the top of the screen and proceeds down the middle to the bottom. Various screen components are populated and are made available to you or not, depending on the role you occupy in the process. I'm logged into the program today as Jim Doe, the lead gifted teacher at Jefferson Elementary School. As such, the location for Jim is pre-selected to be Jefferson Elementary. The school is always pre-selected for school-level leads and teachers. But if we were logged in as a district-level administrator, the program would allow us to select from any of the schools in the district, and we could look at plans from all over the district. Once a school has been selected, the teacher drop-down box is populated with a list of all the teachers who will be participating in differentiated planning and or teaching gifted education students. A teacher will always see their name pre-selected in this list, whereas school leads and district administrators again are given the opportunity to choose from any of the teachers in the selected location. We're going to be looking at the plans that Jerry Leno is responsible for. Once a teacher has been selected, the cluster name drop-down box is populated with a list of all the clusters that have been created by or assigned to the selected teacher. An option is also available in this list for creating a new cluster and designating its subject. Let's select the Math 3 cluster for further examination. Upon selection of a cluster, you see two lists of students being dynamically populated based on the cluster name you have selected. The leftmost list contains the students who have been identified as gifted or talented in the selected school but who have not been included in the cluster. The rightmost list contains those students who have been selected to participate as members of the cluster. Students can be moved back and forth between these two lists, making them participants of the cluster or removing them from it by highlighting their name and clicking the directional buttons between the lists. I'll add Bob Friend to the list of cluster members by clicking his name in the left-hand list and clicking the arrow button pointing to the right. I can hold down the Control key and select multiple student names and move multiple students at once. I can just as easily select multiple students and remove them from the cluster member list. Once we've created or selected a cluster, we can proceed into further refining the definition of the cluster by clicking the Define button. This screen will be described only briefly here. Another demonstration video is available to explain its operation in more detail. The Outcomes tab is where we can add predefined rubrics or objectives or outcomes as objectives or outcomes of the cluster. We have one rubric selected as an outcome for this cluster. The Status tab lets us document cluster progress in the form of text descriptions, and also if there are any SOLs addressed by the cluster, it can be indicated under the Status tab as well. The Student Notes tab is where we can add comments to be included on a report to families and local office notes on student progress and participation. Returning to the main cluster definition screen, we see below the Define button a button labeled Rate. Clicking this button takes you to a screen where you can rate students on the skill level they've achieved in each of the selected rubrics or outcomes of the cluster. Again, the only rubric or outcome selected for the Math 3 plan is the Math Poster Design rubric. When we select that, we see the Goals drop-down box. becomes populated with the goals of that rubric. We can in turn select a goal, and the ratings relevant to that goal is listed in the rating drop-down box, and any ratings that have been previously recorded for the student members of the cluster appear in the list at the bottom of the screen. New ratings can be assigned to the students as demonstrated. I can, for instance, make Willie Brown a practitioner simply by clicking on his checkbox, selecting that description, and clicking on the button that says give the student check below this rating. And we see now they're both practitioners. I can reverse the check boxes, or check them all, reverse the check boxes, and maybe give Oscar Grouch an expert rating in the same manner. When I'm finished assigning the new ratings for the students, I click the Done button, and it returns me to the main cluster definition screen again. This completes this video. I hope it's been helpful in introducing DEPlanner to you, and have a great day.